Grand Rising. I'm actually outside today in a empty room, so I might be coming back with an echo. If that's happening, please forgive me. Chaos here, moving things around. Welcome. My name is Meka Albania Asharal, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern the truth for ourselves about religion, the kingdom of the one and only Allah Adonai Elohim, the creator and father of the universe, Yahweh, and the church. Truth Matters Broadcasting is a broadcast that is streamed live on four different platforms. The goal of Truth Matters Broadcasting is that you can discern for yourself, that you can think for yourself. If I can just only get you to just think for yourself, then maybe you will start asking the questions you were not educated to ask. Maybe you will start asking the questions that will take you to another level of understanding when it comes to discerning for yourself the difference between religion, the kingdom of the one true God, and the church. It is very important to understand truth and understand what is truth. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, truth through tradition can sound truthful. Truth to a flamboyant speaker can sound truthful. There is truth out there that is not truth at all. Now, you might say, if it's not truth, then how is it truth out there? These are the things that you have to discern for yourself. The question was one to ask: what is truth? What is truth? And can you prove truth? Of course you can. Truth is eternal, and truth is in every human being. That is why when you do something that is not of truth, you immediately know that you're doing something wrong. Immediately, subconsciously, you can feel it. You've just done something wrong because truth is written in your DNA. Truth is written in your mind. The knowledge of good and evil is right here in your mind. So we have to look at it from the perspective of our creator, one who giving us, one who is the truth, who is expecting us to live by it. So I want to talk to you about trusting Yahweh. Now you hear me use the name Yahweh, and some of you might be wondering, what does that mean? When I introduce myself, I call my name Mekaal Banya Oshoral, and some of you might be wondering, what does that mean? You might be thinking, is this guy a Muslim? Is this guy one of the 5%ers? Is this guy an Israelite? You might be wondering who I am. You want to know what I am, what I do, what I believe. Do I go to church? Do I believe the Bible? There's a lot of things you want to know about me. And if you are a regular viewer of my program, you will see I have talked about my story and talked about my life many times. I've talked about them straightforward. I've talked about them in segments. I've talked about them casually. But for you who are just joining me, you've never viewed this program before, you don't know anything about me, you don't know anything about my belief, you want to know who I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Meka Albania Osher Al. I was born as Michael Sewell. I do have seven beautiful children, four girls and three boys. And with that, I'm going to have six grandchildren. Okay. And four right now and two on the way. The last of four boys from my mom. The second to last of six children from my dad. Now, this is what you know about me. You still haven't known me yet. I've told you a little bit about me, but you don't know who I am. So now I'm going to tell you who I am. I am a son of the one true Elohim we today call God the Father, the creator of the universe, the creator of the universe. I am a child. My origin come from him. I know who I am. I know who I am. I know what my purpose. I know why I am here. I know why I was born. I know what I was born to do. I know what I'm called to do. So I am a son. I am a son of the Most High God. Now, if you understand that when you become a believer, when you become a man or a woman of faith, you too now are given that understanding that you are a son and daughter, our daughter of the one true God, the one true God, right? You must understand that you didn't come to earth by way of your mother and your father who decided to come together and have a baby. That you were planned way before that. You were in the mind of the Creator. You came here. So once you understand, now you know daughter of the Creator. That's if you chose to understand who He is, what He's about, what His purpose is for earth, what His purpose is for people, what His purpose is for you. Once you get to know these things and you understand these things. So, yes, I am a child of Yahweh, sent to earth through my parents, Wesley and Melissa Ashman, right? Wesley Sewell, Melissa Ashman. I was born Michael Sewell. So I was born into a Christian background, a Christian religion, a Christian understanding. I was born in Jamaica. And I was born into Christianity. My parents, they weren't Christian per se, but they have the Christian belief system, the Christian background. So I was raised in that background. At about 8 years old, I was curious when I saw the church, not only on Sundays, which was when we go to church, did some that did something to me at a young age. Because you see, ladies, I wanted to know one, where was my brother going? That's what I wanted. Where is he going? Because my brother would get up, he will get dressed, and he will go to church on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, sometime off Saturday and maybe go Sunday, or maybe off Thursday, Saturday. So I was wondering where is he going every day? See, my brother had an experience where he had a near-death experience, and he asked the God of heaven, who we know at the time to be God, and we call him God, or we call him Father, and we Jehovah, because that's what we read in the Bible. And he made this prayer: "If you save my life, I will devote my life to you." And that's what my brother did. So that got me curious to want to know a little bit more about this God. Now, when I was a youngster, we moved from the city into the country. And the church we attended, the church that we went was further away from where we lived. We passed about two or three churches to get to the church we we went to. Like as a little boy, I just couldn't understand why we did that, why we do that when we could have gone to the church right around the corner. I didn't understand why. But all I knew is that I want to know if God was in that church as well. So by going to that church, I wanted to go to that church and see and get the experience for myself to see if God was in the church. And I've gone to several churches to see if God was there. And what I found out, ladies and gentlemen, as a youngster, was that God has multiple personalities. That's the conclusion that I brought to my little minister understanding, minuscule understanding at the time. As a little boy, God has multiple personalities. And since I was a happy guy, I was happy, I would go to the happy church, which is the Pentecostal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had Pentecostal background, a Baptist, evangelist, non-denominationalist, you name it, First Assembly, you name it. I went to all these churches because my understanding is that God has multiple personalities, and because He has multiple personalities, if I'm feeling, based on how I'm feeling, I could go to a church to adhere to my feelings. Most of you today go to church because of how you feel. You go to church because you like a certain group. You go to church because you like the pastor. You go to church because you like the music. You like the fellowship. There's always a reason that take you to church, and half the time, I say more like 90% of the time, it's not because you want to know the God who created you. It's because you love the environment and what it offers you. And how I know is because people say this all the time. The music message, the ministry wasn't great today. The message wasn't impactful today. You know, I hear people say that all the time. So I know that they go to church based upon their emotions and their feelings. Now, in part of my introduction to you, you might be wondering, am I a 5%er? No, I'm not. Am I a Hebrew Israelite? No, I'm not. Am I a Christian? No, I am not. Are you religious? No, I'm not. So just to make that clear, for you getting to know who I am, I'm none of these things. I'm not religious. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a non-denominationalist. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. So if I could just say in this couple of words to give you a full understanding, I partake in no religion at all, because in my trust in God, which is going to bring me to the message I'm inspired to give you today. The message I'm inspired to give you today is to trust in Yahweh. Trust in Yahweh. And I'm hoping that my experience will help you to get a little closer, just a little closer to a better understanding for yourself. Trust in Yahweh. That's all I've been doing. I've just been trusting Yahweh. But I did not know Him as Yahweh. Like I said, growing up in a Christian environment, you know Him how you know Him. You know Him by His name, right? That's how you know somebody. You know them by their names. And I can't tell you how many friends of mine I know for years, but I don't know their names because we might, in our culture, we have nicknames that we accustomed to telling people. Like when I was growing up, people call me George. That's not my name, but they call me George. You know what I mean? I had many names growing up. I know people for years and did not know their names. As a matter of fact, if you join me, if you tune in before, you'll hear me talk about my sister who I didn't know I had. I didn't know I had a sister by my father's side till I was 16 years old, and I did not know her name because I know her by another name. I know her by the name they called her, but I didn't know her name. When I try to send money to her, because she's still in Jamaica, and when I started sending money, I sent it under the name I know. And when I was wondering why she didn't get the money. And she writing me, said, I didn't get the money. And I'm like, but I sent the money. And then she said, what name did you send the money in? And I was like, what do you mean, what name did I send the money in? I sent the money in your name, the name I know you as. And she said, well, that's not my name. Now, this is after how many years? I'm finding 16 years of not knowing that I have a sister. right? Because it was all boys in my family. Even my cousins that lived with us, all boys. So to find out that I had a sister at 16, I was so excited, so happy. And I thought I knew everything about my one sister, right? And then I didn't know her name. It throws me, man, because I'm like, when I found out that I had a sister, I was so angry with my father because I was robbed 16 years of having a sister, right? So now that I have my sister, I wanted to make sure I know everything about her, and then I didn't know her real name, so I felt robbed again. So I'm like, is there anything about you that I don't know that I need to know? Because until I know these things, I don't think I know you. Yes, I know of you and I know about you, but I want to know you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most important thing when it comes to a relationship. You can know of a person, you can know about a person, but you don't know the person. And that's where my relationship with this God that I thought I knew through my religion, Christianity. What I found out, ladies and gentlemen, is that I did not know him. I know religion. I understand religion. I know about him. I had no personal relationship with him. I didn't know who he was. When I prayed, I hope he heard me. And if I don't get what I prayed for, I said, it's his will. That's how I chucked it off. But I'm reading this Bible, and I see him talking to people. He's talking to people. I remember one time when Israel was going to war, and none of the priests got a word from God. None of the priests got a word from God. The king didn't get a word from God. None of his servants, none of his nobles got a word from God. But only that little guy, that little insignificant nobody, like just a regular person in the crowd, stood up and said, "Thus say the Lord." Little guy in the crowd stood up, "Thus say the Lord." So I realized that God, not only that he doesn't favor you because you're a king. He doesn't favor you because you're educated or you're noble. He speaks to your heart. And that's something I've learned is that he wants to know you just as he wants you to know him just as you want to know him. So when I set my mind to know him, that's when my whole life changed. Because I'm reading about this God that is not the same God in the church that I go to. I'm reading about this God that is not the same God in the religion that I belong to. The religion is different from what I'm reading. The church is different from what I'm reading. The man, the Messiah, is different from what I'm reading. So I'm saying, wait a minute. This unchangeable, no shadow of turning, no breaking covenant God, why are we doing it the way we're doing it? Why are we practicing it the way we're practicing it, preaching it the way we're preaching it? How did we arrive at Christianity? If Jesus Christ was a Jew, how did we, and we're called to follow him, how did we arrive at Christianity where we do nothing Jewish? These are the questions that I was asking. So I dedicate my life, my time to study just Jesus. I just wanted to know exactly what did he preach. Because many of you are going to churches today and you don't know what he taught. You don't know his message. And we're called to hear his voice. We're called to trust his voice. And to trust somebody, you have to know what the person taught. And someone over here said Jesus cannot save you. I believe that. I believe that with all my heart. Jesus cannot save you. Because that's not how salvation works. And I think, you see, that's one of the biggest things that people don't understand, ladies and gentlemen. They don't understand what salvation is. There's only one person that can save you, and that's the Father himself. Jesus cannot save you. But watch this now. Watch this. Because it's your faith that's going to save you. It is your faith that's going to make you whole. Your faith in what, though? Salvation can only come to you if you believe the information you're hearing. accept the information, comprehend, accept the information you're hearing, and act upon the information you're saying. That's how one gets saved. You get saved by your words. You get saved by your action. So people don't understand salvation. So I'm getting deeper, man. Let me get deeper. All right, let me get deeper. This guy have Jesus is a lie. I tend to believe that, and here's why. Like I said, I grew up Christian, so I understand the Jesus concept. Jesus is definitely a lie. Now, I want you guys to pay attention. Please listen to what I'm saying before you just write me off. Why Jesus is a lie? Because Jesus is first and foremost not the name of the Messiah. The Messiah's name is not Jesus. Here's how I know it. Here's how I know it. History taught me that the letter J was not given until the year 2000, the year 1524. Sorry, 1524. The letter J was not given until the year 1524. Therefore, there could never be the name Jesus because there was no letter J before the year 1524. So Jesus could never be the name given by which we must be saved. That's number one. Okay, so let's look at the man Jesus, the so-called deity, Son of God, Jesus. When you look at the man, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude, we know from history, again, history taught us that who were living in the area at the time of this ministry were black people. The Egyptians are black people. I just brought a book inside the house on that. I wish. Let me see if I can find it. Wait up. I did bring that book in. I hope it's still here. Hold on. Stay right there. Don't move. I'm gonna find this book. I want to show you guys something. It's a book on the Egyptians. There's two books around. Yeah. I'll say it again. I don't know. Maybe. All right. I can't find the book. I know I brought it in. Hold on. Let me take one more sweep by the brook. Hold on. Let me see if I. Let me just take one more look. But what I'm trying to say to you, oh man, this is, all right, that's what I mentioned here. All right, I can't find the book. But I brought in a book from my garage that it just shows the picture of the true Egyptians. I mean, if anyone have any sense at all, and you can comprehend and you can think, you will see that the pictures on the wall are dark skinned people, brown skinned people. So the time when 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 so called Jesus walked the earth, the people living in that region at the time was all black. They were all black people. So this white guy with blonde hair and blue eye, the man, is a false image given to us. And you ask any pastor, any preachers, anybody in the know will tell you that Jesus is not white. Anyone who knows, any pastor, any preacher, they will tell you point blank, Jesus is not a white man. But yet that's the image in your minds when you pray. That's the image in your minds when you call on the name. The image in your mind is the blonde haired, blue eyed guy. That's the image in your mind. That's the image that was in my mind when I prayed. When I found the truth that Jesus is not his name, his actual name is Yahoshua. Yahoshua. It's not Yeshua. It's not Yeshua. It's not Yahuwah. It's Yahoshua. When I found this out, I'm like, wow, it makes so much sense. The Father's name is Yahweh. The Son's name is Yahoshua. And why this is important? Because he would have come in his Father's name. He would have come in his Father's name. And if he's from the tribe of Judah or Yahodah, then he would have the name Yahweh. That's why you hear me say, my name is Yahoshural. Yahoshural is the actual name for Israel. The name Israel is a made-up name that's given to a set of people who are not the true people of the promised people of the book. And I tell people this many, many times. And I've challenged people many, many times. I said, listen, why don't you read Deuteronomy chapter 28? And I've talked to a couple of people to read it, and some people say they read it, but with no understanding. You can't just read the Bible like you read the novel and think you're going to get something out of it. You have to read with understanding, ladies and gentlemen. You have to read with understanding. Now, what does that mean to read with understanding? Here's what it means. It means that when you read the Bible, you have to read it like a detective. You have to read the Bible like you're a detective, finding clues to solve a mystery. You can't read the Bible the way you were reading it. When you're in your church, when you're in your mosque, when you're in your wherever, you get a line here and there. You might repeat or recite a line. You do more ritualism than you do more studying and understanding. Getting up and going to church is a ritual. It's something you do week after week. You're partaking in the ritual. You get to church, you do a couple of announcements, you sing a couple of songs, you have a collection. Depending on the type of church you are, you may have 2 or 3 collections. Then you probably partake in what we call communion or what's called communion. And then after that, you will probably sing a couple more songs. Then the pastor come up and preach for about 40 minutes. And, depending on the church you're in. And then after that, you sing a couple more songs, you do a couple more announcements, and you're gone. You just did a ritual. And that's what you do every week, like a part of a club. That's what you do every week. And that's the sustenance of your faith. That's the sustenance of your belief. Some people say, okay, I got to pray 5 times a day. So that's what you do, ritualism. Like as if to say you're trusting in this God is to do these ritualism and you're going to be better or closer. If you missed a ritual, or if you missed going to church, or you miss praying, you feel no less close to this God. And it's not true. That's not how it works, right? Trust in him, obedience, worship is all about obedience. That's what worship is. It is all about obedience. If you hear my voice, do not harden your heart, right? So it's all about doing what he commands, enjoying it, believing it, trusting it. This is what it means to trust God. This is what it means to trust Yahweh. So for further information on that, ladies and gentlemen, you don't take it from a guy who studied this, who's called to restore the counsel of the Most High. Take it from him, because he can give you more in-depth studies, more in-depth details on the things that I'm talking about. In a sense, he's my teacher. I'm learning from him right now. Go look up the ravenous bird. Ravenous Bird. Ravenous Bird. Go look him up. Go on YouTube. Start on YouTube because we're looking for serious inquiries. We're not looking for people who are coming to try and find fault. But if that's you, we're going to put you to bed. We're going to put you to sleep. All right. So if you're coming to find fault, or you're coming like this guy here trying to, just steer his belief system, hey, listen, I'm not here to change your belief system. I'm not here to change what you think. I'm not here to change your thoughts. I'm here to give you information because information is knowledge and knowledge is power. But power wielded in the wrong hands can be devastating to the masses. Information that is not the correct information can destroy lives. It's time for you to get the right information and understand the one true God, the one true Elohim, the one true Yahweh, and learn Him. Because when you learn Him, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen to you? Your whole life is going to change. So what happened to me is, in my quest for knowledge, in my quest for understanding, in my quest to know for myself, had led me to the ravenous bird. And all through the mighty hands of Yahweh, guiding my every step, through my every religion, through my every aspect of my life, weaving and turning and pointing me like a GPS, putting me back on track. When I get off track, he just boom, and put me right back on track. And that's what led me to where I'm at today. So I am not a religious person in the sense of religion. I adhere to no religion at all. The kingdom of heaven is here. I don't think you hear the message. The message is the kingdom is here. When you understand kingdom, then you have to start now think. You have to think kingdom. You have to get out of religion and start thinking kingdom. And I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you're listening from. But I'm here in America. And in America, and even in Jamaica. Coming from Jamaica, I understand kingdom because we were ruled by the Queen. We were ruled under England, and a little bit of Spain. Portuguese have their hands in the islands of Jamaica. But the Anglo-Saxon took over. So I understand kingdom in a small sense because I was born in the 70s. Now, when I come to America, America is not built on a kingdom perspective. America is built on a democracy. It's built on democracy perspective, right? So when you're looking at how things are done here versus how it would be done in a kingdom, like the people have the voice, well, supposed to have the voice, right? Whereas in a kingdom, only the king have the voice. Where in democracy, you have the right to do all these different things. In the kingdom, the king makes the rules. All the rules is made by the king. The king owns everything, and everyone is subjected to the king. In the kingdom, there's no democracy. In the kingdom, there's dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. It's what the king says, and that's the end of the story. The difference between the king of heaven, the king of the universe, versus the kingdom of men is that the kingdom of men rule in greed and they revelry, and they deal in domination. They want to dominate and selfishness. And yes, they greed, yes. Whereas the king of the heaven, the one true Elohim, rules in love and mercy and long suffering. It's crazy. It's a whole different. The concept of the kingdom of the king of the kingdom is different from the concept of the kingdom of this earth. So when I talk about kingdom, you have a little bit of the concept of the kingdom of the earth, but the majority is based upon obedience, love, If you love me, keep my commandments, showing mercy to 1,000 generations of them that love me and keep my commandments. It's based on love. If you don't keep his commandments, you are operated in hate. And what does this king do to those who hate him? He said, I will visit the sins or iniquities of the fathers upon the children. It's for the third and fourth generations them that hate me. So your sins of my sins will be visited unto 4 generations of my children because of me. And that's what you see happening. This is why the world is so corrupt, because the sin of the fathers, the sin of the corrupted father, is put down to the sons and their sons' sons and generations 4 times deep. And so this world will become more and more corrupt. But the Allah aim of heaven will take charge. He will restore balance. So when you understand these things now, you have to come into a different perspective because you no longer are thinking religion. And that's going to be very, very hard, very, very difficult for a lot of you to do because your religion is your gateway to heaven. Your religion is your gateway to heaven. And if you look at the history of religion, never led anyone to heaven. It will more lead you to hell. Religion leads you to conform. Religion leads to control. So if you're part of a religion, you're being controlled. You really don't have free will in a religion. You have to adhere to the laws of those religions. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're obeying the law. You just don't know it. You're obeying the law. And you, in a lot of cases, you're forced to obey those laws. You don't have free will. This is how it is in these religions. All right. So the kingdom of heaven is different, and there's a kingdom coming, and there's a covenant that is going to be remade. A covenant is coming, but it's going to be made with a people. And so I'm here to tell you to find the truth about who you are. You have to know the God Elohim you worship. Because some of you are worshiping Baal right now. You don't even know it. You're worshiping Baal. If you're going to church on Sunday, I know it's crazy. If you go to a church on Sunday, Sunday is the sign or mark of Baal worship. If you know anything about Baal worship, it's Satan worship. A lot of people don't know this because they were tricked and bamboozled to think that going to church on Sunday and worshiping on Sunday is a new covenant. But you see, you haven't been reading your Bible. You have to read Jeremiah 31 and Hebrews chapter 8. If you read those things, you'll see what the covenant is. And the new covenant is not made with the world, ladies and gentlemen. The new covenant is not made with people of religious mindset. The new covenant is made with a particular people, and that's the children of Yahushua, not Israel. Israel, as you know it, is not the truth of the Bible. The place may be true, the area may be true, but the people who are now calling themselves Israel are not Israel. And here's how you know. Remember, I asked you how you know the truth? Here's how you know. You go to the very Bible. The Bible interprets itself. It needs no interpretation. Like what the Bible says. No prophecy of Scripture came by the prophet's own interpretation, right? You never hear a prophet. You've never heard a prophet come and say, This is what I just start talking. You never hear a prophet come and just start preaching. They never do that because the most important is who said. I will tell it to you this way. We're going to go to Deuteronomy, right? I'll tell you this way. If you have children and you have more than one children, one is older, one is younger, and you tell the youngest one to go tell the oldest one to turn off the TV or to sweep up the room or take out the garbage or anything, right? So when you instruct that younger child to give the instructions to the older child, you don't say, hey, go tell this person this. We usually start by saying, mommy said, daddy said. Now, the reason why that is important, ladies and gentlemen, is because the authority is in who said it. Now, if the child go to their older sibling and said, go and take out the garbage, what do you think the older sibling is going to do? The older sibling is going to like look at the youngest one and look at him like he crazy. Yeah, crazy. Somebody put up 6 people. Bro, you got likely 8 people here. Why not remove your hat? Oh, what do you think? My hat is an issue? Is my hat making you struggle? And what about 8? You think I'm looking? Hold on. First and foremost, let's. I know the devil always distract people like this. He always try to. These people always come in and distract. I only got 8 people listening to me. I don't need more than one. You think I'm here for myself? You think I'm here because I want people to like me? Come on, man. There was only 8 people in the ark, my friend. If you read your Bible, you'll realize there's only 8 people that was in the ark. Billions of people on the planet, but 8 got saved. So I'm glad for the 8 people that are here. Because if those 8 people that are here, it means you may have been selected to be here. Not that you're going to be chosen, but you were selected to hear. Why? The message could be for you, or it couldn't be not for you, but you're the conductor of the message that's going to get to someone else. Okay, you're going to probably talk to someone and say, I hear this crazy guy talking about this, and you don't know that you're bringing the message. I've seen it time and time again. So I don't care how many people are hearing me. I know I'm obedient to go and preach my testimony. I'm obedient to go preach what I know. And like in everything in life, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't notice, everything in life is the same. If you notice when you get good information, what do you do first thing? You go tell somebody. If there's a sale at Walmart, what do? You go tell somebody. Why do you go do that? Because you want them to enjoy the same benefits you're enjoying. If you win the lottery and you get some money, there's somebody you're going to want to share it with. You know what I mean? If you buy a nice house and you buy a nice car, there's somebody you're going to want to drive in it. There's somebody you want to see it. There's somebody you want to invite over to your house. It's our nature to want to share good news. And we do it. We do it subconsciously. We do it. So it's my nature. I was built that way. I told you before, if you were joining me earlier, that my purpose, I know what my purpose is. If I have my vocabulary right, or my arithmetic, or whatever you want to call it, right? I know what my purpose are, right? My purpose is to restore truth to the believer, not necessarily the people of Yahushua, but to the believer, because everyone who believes and accepts will be grafted in. Everyone who believes, whether they are Yahushua or not. So you must understand it. So let me just stay focused. Let me just stay focused and don't lose start here. So the covenant is made with a peculiar people. The covenant is not made with everyone. The covenant is not made with everyone. It's made with the children of Yahushua. Now, if you read Deuteronomy 28 and you read it from verse 15 to 68, and you read it with the understanding of trying to figure out who are these people? Are these people living today? If you are really, really focused, you're going to find that those people of Deuteronomy chapter 28 are those who can chase their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. Only Middle Passage people are the promised seed of Abraham. Now that hurt somebody. I know that hurt somebody, and it's okay. It's okay to be hurt because if you're hurt, then you can be healed, and that's the goal. The goal is for you to be healed because you've been lied to, bamboozled, and deceived for so long. I've been lied to, bamboozled, and deceived. So once I understand my roots and find myself, once I found him, I was able to find myself in the process. And I can chase my lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. And that's why I am Yahushua. That's why I no longer call upon the name of Jesus. Because I realized that Jesus could never be the name given because in 1524 there was no letter J. So Jesus could never be the name given because before 1524 there was no name Jesus. The true person is Yahushua. That's the true person, a black person. The true person was black, not white. The true name was Yahushua, not Jesus. The true people of Yahushua are black people who can chase themselves through the Atlantic slave trade. And if you look at Deuteronomy 28 and you look at the curse, ladies and gentlemen, just look at the curse. Look at the curse. And then look at the history of the people living in Israel today. And then ask yourself this one question. Do their ancestry fit the curse of Deuteronomy 28? It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. And I thank Yahweh for the ravenous bird because the Yahweh has preserved the ravenous bird for us today to restore his counsel. And you can find that prophesied by Yahweh himself in Isaiah 46, verse 11. And it just makes too much sense and it fits too well. The one true God has always called a people from among his people and send that people to his people. And they always say, this is what God said. They never come in their own name and they never preach in their own name. They never come in their own name, ladies and gentlemen, and they never preach in their own name. Thus saith Yahweh. This is what Yahweh said. So if someone preaching to you and they're not telling you what Yahweh said, they're lying to you, they're deceiving you. And they're speaking in their own name, and that's what religion does. Kingdom, not religion. Find out the truth. Now, if you look at the Bible, you will see from the time of Abraham all the way down. If we're going to just start from Abraham, if you look from Abraham, I tell people this many times, just look at the genealogy. There's a reason why there's genealogy printed out in the Bible. Because you know who you are from by where you come from. So if you don't know where you come from, you're lost. And as slaves, we are lost. We're still in a curse. We're still under a curse. The curse has not been lifted by this so-called Jesus. The curse is not being lifted. Not yet, at least. Not until we leave the land and go back to the Most High. That's when the curse is going to be lifted. Because it showed that we believe. Abraham, our father, had to leave the land of the Chaldeans. The children of Yahusharel had to leave Egypt, and they went out into the wilderness to be taught by Yahweh. It's going to happen again. We have to leave Egypt to go back to the wilderness to be refined and tried and taught by Yahweh. And then he's going to keep his promise by bringing us back to the land from which he scattered us, back to the land from which he promised our forefathers to give to us. If they were the people, over there in Israel and all the surrounding towns, Yahweh would have been in the midst of them. Don't be fooled by the fact that they got power and money. Don't be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by that. You would see the voice of Yahweh. You would see the Shekinah glory. You would see it happening. Wait till we assemble. Allah at Yahweh. We must understand the truth, ladies and gentlemen, and the truth is the truth. We are the people of the book. So let me take you now to Abraham, our father. Abraham was given a promise for his obedience. He was credited righteousness because he believed the word of Yahweh. And he left, and he packed up his stuff, and he left. Even when he didn't know where he was going, he believed that Yahweh will make his descendants as numerous as the sand of the sea. From nothing to everything. He understood it. He believed, even though he didn't have a child, and he was way up there in age, and his wife was way up there in age, he still believed. But he had some issues. Just like every belief system is tested by something or someone. So after he leaves, and after he went through the covenant with Yahweh, Yahweh decided, when he petitioned Yahweh, he said, when I die, Eliezer become my heir. Eliezer will become my heir. And Yahweh said, you're going to have a son. And your wife's going to have a son. But he was old in age, and he started to doubt. There was some doubt. There was some question. How am I going to do that? I passed the age of childbearing, right? But at the end of the day, there's nothing impossible for Yahweh to do. His word is life. When he speaks, it's eternal. Everything obeys. Listen to me. Time itself waits on no man, but time waits on Yahweh. That's power. When he speaks, that's it. It's eternal. That's power. All right? So you're going to have a son, and you're going to call that boy Laughter, because you laughed at me, so I'm going to laugh at you. Understand these things, ladies and gentlemen. Understand this. Watch this now. But they went ahead and did a surrogate thing because they think either the promise is not true, he's getting up there in age, so let's go do a thing. Isn't that what we do when we pray and we have no patience to wait? We go try to solve the problem ourselves, and every single time he gets us into trouble. But anyway, he went and go do his thing. They have this child. This child is called Ishmael. Yahweh Shma'al. That's his actual name. Right? And the child grew up strong, 13 years old. And they think, here's my heir. They're thinking for certain this is the one that Yahweh is going to use to bring his promise, to fulfill his promise. But after 13 years, Yahweh came to them and said, hey, listen, Ishmael is your son. He comes from your loin, but that's not my seed. That's not the one that's going to bring my promise. Your wife, Sahara, or Sierra, whatever they will call her, she's going to have a son. You're going to name him Isaac. And of course, he had a son. He had the son, which he names Isaac. All right? So watch this. Ishmael was banished with his mother, but Yahweh blessed the child because the child came from Abraham, and he blessed the child, and he says, 12 prince shall come from that loin. But that's not the seed of the promise. Come on, you got your Bibles here. You got your Bibles. He's not the seed of the promise. The seed of the promise is Isaac. So now we're looking at Isaac. So Isaac now got his wife pregnant, and they have twin boys. Now, one thing I love about Yaakov, if you read Isaiah 46, where he prophesied that the ravenous bird will restore his counsel. If you go up to verse 8, Isaiah 46, Yashayahu 46, verse 8, you will see he says, remember this. I am Yahweh and there's none else. I am Yahweh and there's none like me. Declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done. This is the one we worship. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, we don't worship the same God you worship. Most times people think because I say Elohim or because I say praise God, they think I'm worshiping the same. No, we worship a totally different God. Because the God of your religion is not the God we worship. The God of your Christianity is not the God we worship. We worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That is the God we worship. We know the one we worship. And everybody needs to understand this. So don't think we worship the same God. If you don't have these belief systems, if you're not on this page, we just don't worship the same God. I don't worship the Christian God. I don't worship the Jewish God over there. They don't worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They don't believe in the Torah. They believe in the Talmud and the oral laws. That's what they believe in. They don't worship Yahweh. They have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. We don't worship those gods. We don't worship the God of America. We don't worship the Christianity of America either. And we don't worship any God of any religion. We worship Yahweh, the God of Abraham, listen, Isaac, not Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob. All right, so we're getting off now. This God we worship, this Elohim we worship, said that Isaac was going to have two sons, and that the younger will be the leader. The older will serve the younger. He said it before it happened. So of course, when Jacob when Esau was born, he came up first, and Jacob hold on to his heel, showing that the word of Yahweh is going to be fulfilled. Long story short, Esau was the firstborn, Jacob was the secondborn. Yahweh said, Esau I hate. Listen to me, he's Yahweh, he can do whatever he wants. Esau I hate, Jacob I love. The promised seed is not with Esau. So here's two fathers with two sons. Abraham had two sons, Ishmael and then Isaac. Ishmael was not, oh, I think I'm cursing at you. Ishmael was not the promised seed, but he was a seed nonetheless. So he carried the DNA of his father. Okay? But not the promised seed. That's why if you look at haplogroups, you will understand what I'm talking about. Isaac, who was the seed, had two sons, one Esau, one Jacob. But Esau was not the promised seed. The promised seed was Jacob. But Esau had the DNA of Abraham. Esau had the DNA of Isaac, but he was not the promised seed. You understand? You're following me so far? Now we're talking about Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, 4 different women. Those 12 children became the 12 tribe of Yahushua. And from those 12 tribes, again, the story was told to us by Yahweh before it happened. Your children will be in a land not their own, and they will be enslaved, what? 400 years. After that, I will come again. For Instagram, we're going to be cut off. I'm going to go right back so you guys have come back to hear the rest. All right, 2, 1. See you guys. Yeah, we only get 1 hour on Instagram. So let's go back. Let's see if we can get back on here. Connecting now. So this is part two of part one of Trusting Yahoo for you guys on Instagram. Please go to part one and see, and then you can come back and catch up where we left off. So again, the God Yahweh, our Elohim, foretold that Abraham's children will be in a land not their own, and they will be enslaved 400 years. And after 400 years, he's going to come and do some things, right? Now, when he said that to Abraham, Abraham had no children. Abraham had no kids. So the vision that Yahweh gave Abraham, our father, is that your children is going to be in a land enslaved. So that is a clue number one. Where has the Jews in Israel today, Jewish people in Israel today, where in history have they been enslaved 400 years? Therefore, they cannot be the people of the book. Because they have to first fulfill that 400 years of slavery. You understand where I'm coming from? Now, when you look at the truth, you now have to look at it objectively and say, which people historically, come on, somebody, because I know you have a brain, I know you can think. Which people historically, of all the people on the planet, of all the nations on the planet, which people historically has suffered a 400-year curse of slavery? This is how you find answers. That's why I'm telling you, when you find the answers, it changes you from within. Because you can't see life the way you saw it before. You can't look at this earth or look at the system of the earth the way you look at it before. You have to look objectively and say, oh my Yahweh. Those people over there are not the people of the book. They do not match the curse in any way. They have a brief history of mistreatment and slavery and encampment and all these different things that happen to them, but they don't match the curse. And let me tell you something. Not only that you have to look at 400 years of slavery, you have to look at the type of curse, the type of things that was said that's going to happen, brought by ships. Your children will be sold. All these different things. You will plant and not reap it. Come on, look at the curse objectively. Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. We've missed the blessings. We've missed the blessing of Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 15. Why do we miss it? Because of our disobedience. And we still are disobedient today. Because you have ministers like me who are coming and say, I'm not a prophet. I'm not even a messenger. I'm one who have been enlightened. My eyes are open. I believe, therefore I share. Someone on TikTok said, not us in the US. See, you don't understand. You have to look at the Atlantic slave trade partner. We're not the children of Yahushua is not only in the United States of America. They are scattered in every nation on the earth. Clue number 3. They're not just scattered in the United States. The children of Yahushua is in every nation on planet Earth. Because that's what the curse said. That's what Yahweh said. I will scatter you among the nations. And you will be taken by ships. You know, a lot of people think Africans are the people of the book. You see, you got to look at your history. But the ravenous bird will fill you in. Go look up the ravenous bird, RAVENOUSBIRD. Ravenous bird on YouTube. Look up the name of the creator, then look up Brought by Ships. Watch, there's 4 series of each. Watch them all and get some understanding because you're going to be called by Yahweh to do some things, to come out of her, my people, so that you may not be partakers of her plagues. The plagues are coming. The seals are going to be open, and the plagues are going to come upon the nation who we serve as slaves. These are prophecies in the book, in the Bible. The people we serve as slaves is going to pay back double, and they think because they're dead, they're not going to pay. The Most High, the one true God, is going to raise them back from the dead. That you cannot escape this. Death cannot set you free. It more entrap you. Death traps you in the decision you make. So you better make the right decisions. You better have the right understanding. Please repeat the YouTube. Ravenous bird. RAVENOUSBIRD. Ravenous bird. Ravenous bird. Ravenous bird, man. I'm telling you, when I prayed and I asked Yahweh, what is your name? I wanted to know his name because in my research, there was too many names for me to understand which one is it. I didn't want to worship a false God. Therefore, I asked him, what is your name? What exactly is your name? He sent me to the ravenous bird. I wasn't searching for no ravenous bird. I didn't believe in no ravenous bird. All I know was I asked Yahweh, what is your name? When this man popped up on my phone saying the true name of the Creator, the very answer to the question I asked got my attention. Now I believe in the ravenous bird. I know he's the man chosen to do the will of Yahweh in Isaiah 46 verse 11. Go read it. Isaiah 46 verse 11. Yahweh said he have called the ravenous bird, a man from the east, a man who will execute my counsel from a far country. He said, I have spoken it. Come on. And we know that when he says something, Yahweh said, I will not alter the words that come out of my mouth. His word is eternal. I believe in him. And that's why I believe in the ravenous bird. Because I believe in Yahweh. And I've been calling upon that name. And I'm telling you, my whole life is changed. I can't explain this feeling, man. Oh, what a feeling. Ooh. Because tonight's gonna be a good night. Nah, it's a good day. I'm not waiting for the night. It's a good day. Blessed is he who gave us his day of peace and rest and rejuvenation. Shabbat shalom to all those who understand. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, shalom. Perfect peace are they that understand his will for their lives. Do you understand what I'm saying? So going back now, we are the promised seed that was in slavery for 400 years. Here's something what most people don't know. The children of Yahushua was not enslaved in Egypt 400 years ago. That was an antitype of what was to come. Because when Joseph went over to Egypt, they had peace and tranquility in Egypt all the time. It's when that generation died out and everyone died out and knows what Joseph did, the next generation will rise up. They didn't know who he did. It's some 200 plus years they were in slavery in Egypt, in physical Egypt. What people don't realize that America is Egypt. Now, let's go back to what I was saying to that brother, that person who said, not in America. Let me tell you something. The children of Yahusharah are in every nation on the planet. And what you don't know, if you do understand, when Rome got dismantled in the year 476 AD, it split into 10 nations. People don't understand these things. So you got to look up some history. You see, the Bible does not, the Bible is a historical book. It's our book. They hijack it and make it white and they whitewash it. But the Bible is our history. And the people of Yahusharah is the people of Yahweh. And he speaks only to us. Christianity makes you think he speaks to everyone. He does not. You look at the Old Testament and you see, what did he say? What did he say? Thus say Yahweh, speak to the children of Yahusharah, speak to the children of Yahusharah, speak to the children of Yahusharah, speak to the children of Yahusharah. Look at Amos chapter 3 and see what that says, 1 and 2. You have I known, only you have I known of all the families of the earth. You only have I known. Therefore I will punish you for your sin. We are the children. We're the one he knows. And he has never abandoned us. And we think because we serve 400 years of slavery, he has abandoned us. He has never abandoned us. We have abandoned him. We have turned our backs on him. And because we turn our backs on him, he turned his backs on us. But he says, if you return to me, I will return to you. It's when the children is ready. It's when the students are ready, the master will turn up. So in closing, because I'm hungry. All right, so some person over here, Lord, y'all have mercy. Our history of owning slaves. All right, let's touch that a little bit. Yes, black Africans own slaves, even in this country. See, you don't understand your history. So let me help you see. When the nation of Rome, when the empire of Rome split into 10, another little power rises up amongst them. That little power that rises up amongst them to prominency was the papacy. The papacy took the name Pontiff Maximus, high priest, pagan worship. They merged Christianity with paganism, and through that entity, the papacy, little Italy over there, ruled the world. They destroyed 3 of the 10 nations, wiped them off the face of the map. That's why you have not heard about the Visigoths, the Ostrogoths, and the Hurri. You haven't heard of those 3 nations because they're extinct. There's a lot of people that was on this planet that is extinct. You never hear of the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Amalekites. They're all extinct. Yes, just like animal and species extinct, people can be extinct too. Okay? Now, let me give you some history, sir, or ma'am, whoever you are. Let me give you some history. So where are the 7 nations? If there were 10, if Rome was split into 10 and 3 nations was destroyed and 7 left, where are the 7 nations today? Let me tell you what the 7 nations are. I will give you the names, the original names, but you will not know who they are. If I was to tell you the Lombards, would you know who the Lombards are today? See, things are changed. Times have changed to mass true history. So let me tell you what the Lombards are. The Lombards are the Italians. The Franks are the French. The Sueves are the Switzerland. The Saxons are England. You understand what I'm saying? Germany is also part of Rome. Germany is Rome. England is Rome. France is Rome. Italy is Rome. Portuguese is Rome. The Spaniard is Rome, and the Suez, which is they're all Rome. These are the seven nations that is in direct result of the Atlantic slave trade. Look at your history. Now, with slave owning slaves. Maybe a year ago or so, there was some African tribes that came out nationally to apologize to all the slaves that was sold from Africa into the New World. The Portuguese and England and the Spaniards conspire with the Africans to sell us into slavery. You see, the true children of Yahushua are not African descendants. They're not African descendants. We didn't come from Africa. We come from Asia. Well, my battery's running low here for Facebook and YouTube. I disconnect my stuff because my office is a mess right now. So our battery's going to go out. So for those who are joining me on YouTube and Facebook, I'm going to shut my computer down so we can pick this up another time. But if you want, you can follow me at Ake once more if you have TikTok. AKHAYONCEMORE. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Maychaal1, MAYCHAAL1. Until next time for Facebook and TikTok, Yah bless you. Shalom.